Hello, Basement Movie Room. Welcome back to another review. This week, we're following up our Vanishing Point 1971 review with the reimagining of 1997 Vanishing Point, which was a TV movie, ultimately, starring Viggo Mortensen, Jason Priestley, and a couple of other people you'll probably recognize, but not really much else. Made for Fox, I believe, in 1997. It was broadcast on TV. I had watched it some years after it was released on DVD, which is actually a really freaking hard movie to find to watch. It's actually on YouTube. So if you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. We watched a pretty low quality copy of it. But, you know, if you're watching on a computer screen, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
So
Same level as Champagne and Bullets.
Yeah, Champagne and Bullets.
Check out our review on that one.
Definitely check out that review.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So, the plot for the most part follows the same plot as the first one. Not the first one, the original one. Where Jimmy Kowalski, is a car transporter driving a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT with a Hemi to... I don't know that it makes it clear where he's driving to. But ultimately, this story gives a little of a backstory, Kowalski. And his wife is pregnant. And she's having a difficult pregnancy. He goes to do this job so they can afford to have the baby. And he gets a call during this job that his wife's labor is going poorly. And that she might not make it through the labor. The baby might not make it through the labor. So he takes off, basically, in this car to get back to Idaho, which the original movie was San Francisco, but he's going to Idaho to be back with his wife for the birth of his child, and hopefully that she makes it. He gets pulled over by a couple of cops. One cop's a real asshole, I guess, and the other cop's like, oh, that's just how he is. You just got to deal with this. We're going to take you
For speeding.
for speeding.
They pretty
he's
much...
doing like 120 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're like, we got to take you in for speeding. You got to, go in front of the judge or whatever. So he's like, oh, I'll get the registration out of the glove box, and just takes off. And that starts into this whole ordeal where the FBI gets involved. Keith David is the FBI agent that's mainly behind it. And he's kind of, I guess he's our secondary antagonist. We have a Utah police officer that's the main antagonist that is chasing after him in a Charger. We have Challenger versus a Charger in this movie. Although the ultimate car chase is not that exciting.
It's the main antagonist, police officer's vehicle, personal vehicle.
It's his personal vehicle.
It was so blatantly obvious that they wanted to do a Challenger versus Charger show off in this movie. It was very obvious. So, yeah.
Yeah. It is very obvious. I forgot to start the recorder.
Because those were... Those two cars were...
Challenger, Charger. That was the big deal.
The
big
Dukes
rivals. Of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Dukes of Hazzard that drove the Charger. The Challenger that Kowalski drove. Like I said in the last review, Tarantino's a big fan of the original movie with that. He had the 70 Challenger in Death Proof. So, basically, Viggo's trying to get home to his wife. All the cops are in his way. He goes through a lot of the same situation that Kowalski goes in. You don't have like the nude biker in this movie.
Yeah.
But you have similar people that work in the same way.
She
and
was
the
in a
rattlesnake,
bikini top and
for
fit
the
for TV.
Rattlesnake capturer guy.
But not
you don't have the
religious
church,
group.
the religious group. He's just catching rattlesnakes.
A lot of the same elements.
Yeah.
The movie started, like you said, the movie started off pretty much similar.
Yeah. It starts off very similar. So Kowalski just continues going, and then you have the radio host, who's played by Cleavon Little in the original, which was much better.
Oh, he was.
You have Jason Priestley playing the radio host in this movie, which is, he's fine. It's nothing special in this movie. Movie's not that great, so it doesn't ultimately figure that much in. But he's giving him the same help. You don't have the whole issue where the public or the police type supporting people come in and, attack the radio host and get him off the air and make him say things that might get Kowalski captured. But you have the whole issue with that, with the radio host kind of trying to help Kowalski, and Kowalski listening to the radio and going through. He also, in this movie, Kowalski picks up a radio scanner, a police scanner, where he can listen to police stuff, as opposed to in the original movie, Cleavon Little kind of relayed that stuff to Kowalski through the radio. But overall, the plot stays basically the same, except that Kowalski in this movie, in the 1997 movie, has more intentions than Kowalski does in the original movie. Kowalski in the original movie is essentially suicidal. In this movie, Kowalski is not suicidal until he finds out later on, and spoiler alert, his wife has died in childbirth, but they don't say his child dies. So him being suicidal does not make much sense in this movie. While Kowalski in the original 71 movie doesn't have a lot to live for. He doesn't care anymore. So Kowalski continues on his adventure, chased by the cops, and ultimately the movies end the same way.
Yeah.
There's two bulldozers. The
pretty
Challenger
much
rams
exact
at
same
full
way.
speed and the bulldozers. But the difference between this and 71 is that there is some inclination that Kowalski may have jumped from the car in the 97 version, and that he's still alive. He's raising his daughter, who was born fine, even though his wife died. So we don't really have a significant ending.
Yeah.
The 71 movie, I think, ending is much more impactful, because we're pretty clear that Kowalski is dead in that movie. He's not living. He's dead.
The subtle reaction before he hit the gas.
Yeah.
Was the subtle reaction in his face, or just that little bit of acting that he had to do in the old version, was enough dialogue to move that ending along. Yeah, and it was perfect in my opinion. Yeah, and I loved how that ended. Yeah, as abrupt as it was. Yeah, as abrupt as it was. There's little subtleties there that were like, oh man, okay. Yeah. And Viggo is doing his best with the materials he worked for. I think that just not a good script. It's a TV movie. It was played on Fox in 97. So clearly we're going to suffer in some areas with the TV movie. It's not made to be fantastic. It's just made to get people to tune in. Probably some of the worst acting I've seen out of Viggo. Yeah. Was on one scene. Great. I showed, brought that up to you. When they were at that barn, it was like, oh, scene. Yeah, that was, but it's a TV movie. Yeah, and Viggo was like, I think Viggo was a little confused in that scene too. I mean, just a couple of years after this, he'd start filming Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I know. Yeah, which he's fantastic. Right. Yeah. So I mean, Viggo's a very talented guy. He did stand out in this movie for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's the main character. Yeah. So he certainly has to. Yeah. The score of this movie is non-existent. Yeah. I mean, it's just a very mediocre, just generic. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, score. I mean, I don't even know who did it. Probably doesn't matter. Probably wasn't even listening to the credits. Yeah, didn't pay attention to it actually. Yeah, no point. Not like the 71 movie, which used a lot of early 70s rock and like soul music to kind of accompany you on this plot. But the 97 movie, I don't remember any of it. There's no comparison to like the Mountain Song, Mississippi Queen being in there. Nothing. There's no comparison. There's nothing there because they didn't want to spend money on it. Yeah. That's clearly the reason. So, I mean, if I'm going to recommend something, I mean, it's okay to watch this. I'm not going to say you shouldn't watch this, but definitely watch the 71 version first, because the 71 version is the true vision of this film. It's not perfect, but it's much, much better than this 97 version. What do you? I mean, that 100% agree. Yeah. I mean, 71 is superior. Yeah, there's no doubt. By all means. So in score, in acting, in dialogue. Yeah. The thing about this movie we were talking about, they went a little bit too much dialogue. Yeah. With the whole there's more dialogue backstory. That's necessary. The whole backstory was overplayed in this movie. Now that you mention that, now that I think about it, they played him off as
ex-military Marine member. When the original 71 was like ex-race car driver, which I think fit better for the movie than a Marine.
He was a Marine and a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, and he was a cop.
And a cop. No, in the 97.
Yeah. He wasn't a cop in 97.
Yeah, he was. It was like a little too much.
Yeah, too much for sure.
Over the top. So,
yeah, I mean, 97's not near as good as 71.
Yeah.
Let's go to ratings. I'll go first. 2 stars. I mean, it's about 50% as good as the first one. I gave the first one 4 stars. So that's where I'm at. I mean, the acting is good from Viggo. Everything else is like, Keith David's in it. He's great as usual. His voice is just distinct.
That's all he needs.
But nothing special.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing special about this movie. It shouldn't have even been called Vanishing Point.
It shouldn't even been really made, in my opinion. But yeah, 2, I'll stay with it 2, just because it has those actors in it. And, La Femme Nikita from the TV show.
Yeah, it looks like 90s. Her, at least. I didn't look at the credits to make sure it was her. Peter Wilson.
Yeah. So, I mean, acting was okay. But this movie should not have been remade.
Yeah, so, I would agree.
Especially as a TV movie.
Yeah.
So, but
it didn't work out.
Yeah, 2's good.
Yeah.
I'm on par with you on that one.
All right, so 2 stars for Vanishing Point 97.
You recommend it?
I would watch it if I watched the 71 version first. If you watch the 71 version and you're interested in the Viggo Mortensen version, watch it. If you love Viggo, watch it. But otherwise, I don't think there's any reason to see this.
We pretty much watched it because of Viggo. So
that's it?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Vanishing Point. It's the race of his life.